Hello, all, and welcome to Football Primetime.
That's
I'm your
pretty
host,
good.
Bill Dean. I'm, of course, here with my co-host, AJ Dean. Mr. Wu is he was shoveling hard today, so I told him to have a great day off and just enjoy the flurries, maybe make a couple snow angels in his backyard.
So
But so
kind of
he
you.
is. He's enjoying his time, probably asleep. No, actually, I just talked with him. He was helping me set up from the last show to this one. So we're good, but yeah, so another great, football little, fantastic 6 games that we got already, right? 6 games? No. Uh, no, 7 games. Wait, how many games did we watch already?
We've
No, five.
watched.
Five.
This will
We watched
be
five.
six
This will be
right now.
six. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry. I was losing it a little bit. I'm actually just turning on, and I saw that LA is already up 14-0 on
Yep.
the Cardinals, and they just looked like they punted the ball and downed it at the 1 yard line, Johnny Hacker. So Rams already
you're,
looking pretty good. So I
you're
mean,
slightly
maybe
ahead
we
of me
shouldn't
with
even
the feed.
don't even talk about this game because obviously it's they're just a shoe-in to win the game. So, but yeah, so fantastic weekend for football. Started with the Saturday slate, 2 games, then Sunday with the 3. Today, Monday, 4th, the 6th, which, first time having a Monday game after, playoffs. And, AJ, you were
That's weird.
talking about, yeah, it is weird, but you were talking about with Kevin, obviously our brother Kevin, you were talking about how you didn't like having the Monday game because you thought it was an unfair advantage for it. Was it you or was it Kevin that was saying that? I can't remember, but
Nah, I think it
basically,
was Kevin.
and a lot of people have said this too, that it's an unfair advantage for those teams that got to play on Saturday, Sunday. But I'll say this to them: there are some teams that this week would have played on Sunday, and then next week they'll play Saturday. So it's still that game, that
Yeah.
day in between. So, I don't really think it's that bad competitive nature. I'm sure a lot of teams were upset about it. Well, I guess these two teams maybe were, but it's Monday night. You get to play on Monday night, so why wouldn't you be unhappy about that? So,
It's
um,
a little bit of a give and take. I feel like for
yeah,
that.
no, I
They
can
get an
agree.
extra day to prepare against Arizona. Arizona
Yeah,
and LA get extra day to prepare against each other. But yeah, I mean going into next week, it's a little bit more of a challenge. Tampa Bay is gonna have 2 extra days to prepare, but I mean these are NFL teams, so I mean they should be
yeah.
able to prepare in 5 days, 6 days.
And we'll talk about this game real quickly, and then we'll just give a status at the end of the game. But so Cardinals Colts, obviously, Cardinals Rams, 14-0, 8:45 left in the second.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like Beckham had one of the touchdowns. I didn't see it actually, but Beckham with
Yeah,
the
you did.
touchdown, and then who was the other one with the touchdowns? It
I was setting
was.
up. Um,
Let's see here. Scoring plays. Odell Beckham Jr. With the pass from Stafford for the first quarter touchdown, and then Matthew Stafford with a 1 yard rush. So QB sneak up
yeah.
the wazoo. I did see that for the Cardinals, they did have J.J. Watt back, which is
Yep.
obviously a big piece for the defense.
Cam
It's fun to
Akers.
watch. Yeah, Cam Akers back too for the Rams. It's fun to watch J.J. On the game. He's you watched him when he was in his heyday, and he was fantastic. What the best defensive player there was
Mm-hmm.
before Aaron Donald came along. But yeah, he's a lot of fun, and we'll see how the rest of this game plays out. I would have said the Rams last week, in my projections, just because I thought the Cardinals were kind of going in the wrong direction at the wrong time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And, I like their team and I like Kyler Murray. I think he's got some spunk and he's a lot of fun to watch, but I just think that the Rams have the better pieces. Getting Odell Beckham Jr., and we've said this before, getting him in basically a free agent pickup when they lost Robert Woods for the season was a big ad. I mean, you're looking at a guy who can play that second, the number one on the outside, the X receiver, because obviously Cooper Kupp plays more of the slot receiver role, but just a fantastic player on the outside and can win one-on-one matchups, can win double teams. He makes spectacular catches. I mean, the one that he against the Cowboys for the Giants was one of the best of all time, but
Yeah.
just a guy that you like to have on your team. Stafford, I'm sure, really loves him and trusts him right now, especially because he's had 5-6 touchdowns already, and it's someone that they can really rely on to get much needed yards in the air.
Yeah. Yeah, it was perfect signing. Especially right before Woods run down. I mean, it took a couple games for sure for him and Stafford to get on the same page. I think it's still you can still see here and there. It's taking them some time to kind of get on the page, same
Yep.
page. But yeah, I mean, it's a great signing for them. I mean, I still think Odell should have went to the Packers. Think that
Yeah.
would have been his best chance.
Maybe.
Just the way that the Packers have been playing and the way the Rams have kind of stumbled as of late. But I mean, they're playing great right now. 14-0 against the Cardinals team that's I would say is at times looked like the best in the league. But they've had their troubles too. So
Yeah.
um, it'll be a exciting second half to watch. I know there's about 7.5 minutes left. In this one, so we'll see if the Rams can stay on track and keep the lead, or it'll be a little bit of a closer game. With the Cardinals down 2 scores. So
Yeah. Um, just going in and looking at some news that I saw on Twitter and stuff. GM Mike Mayock was fired by the Raiders after 3 seasons, so they're going to do a new GM search, which probably doesn't mean good things for Rich Bisaccia. Um, I know that he had a fantastic lead into the playoffs. Obviously they lost
hmm
yesterday to, or sorry, they lost on Saturday to the Bengals. But I thought someone that led a team that really didn't have an identity and had bunch of issues just in general with between personnel and just being on the team
yep.
in general was just tough. And he did really well, and I thought maybe he deserved a second chance. But once you get a new GM, that all hands are kind of off, and he's probably an uphill battle to get that coaching role. But good for him. Obviously, we'll talk about this game in a little bit, but I saw that stuff come up on the news wire. Stephen Jones for the Cowboys was confident in Mike McCarthy for
hmm
his return. Bad game for Mike McCarthy. Once again, penalties and
He's had a few of them.
mismanagement. Clock mismanagement was a big time issue throughout the season. It was kind of his downfall, and it kind of figures that a team that led the team or was second in penalties, led the week one in the wild card playoffs in penalties, and his team was just not doing well. And
hmm
I will say this. We'll talk about this one right now. I wasn't very happy with what him and Dak Prescott. How they basically just threw the umps under the bus. The referees under the bus
That's
about the spotting the ball and stuff, especially in the last play of the game where they lose on a
yeah.
clock mismanagement. And you had also Dak praise the fans for throwing stuff at the referees. I hope he gets a
Just
fine
ridiculous.
because yeah, it's dumb. It was a dumb thing to do. If you talk to every single coach in the NFL, they know that the referee has to touch the ball and spot
Yep.
it before you can have a play.
Yeah.
And whether Dak didn't give him the football because he was the one that ran it, or his offensive lineman didn't give him the football, that guy needed to touch the ball. You made it hard for him to get up there, and you lost the time on the clock because of that. And that's the Dallas Cowboys' fault. That's not the referee's fault. That's not nothing else. They had the same
hmm
thing happen almost. In the I think it was start of the second half where they had the fake punt, and then they do some weird trickery, like they were going to repunt again to try to. I don't know
And
if they were trying to draw them off sides or what they were trying to do. It was stupid. And 14 seconds left. They changed the field. There's the other team gets the right to change the players that are on the field, so the referee
yeah.
gave them the ample amount of time. And then the clock just went by, and they lost another. They basically had to punt three plays later because they, couldn't make up yardage. But just dumb, stupid stuff that teams do, and they expected that the refs would get the blame for this. And I think that I've seen a lot of retort on Twitter and on radio shows that they're in the wrong, and Dallas needs to fess up and acknowledge that they were wrong, and they need to apologize to the referees, and they're probably going to get a hefty fine too.
Yeah. I mean, I know Mike McCarthy doesn't call the plays on offense or defense for Dallas, but I mean, in that situation, I mean, I mean, 'cause that was clearly a designed quarterback run.
Yeah,
At least it looked like it. The way that Dak took off.
absolutely was. Yep.
Um,
Quarterback draw.
I mean, I think you got to know, obviously, with 14 seconds left, that's however many yards. Dak either has to know to go down, right away, right when he gets that first down. Not try to get that extra yardage. Um, so that's definitely on him, offensive coordinator, and obviously Mike McCarthy too. Head coach has to
Yeah,
take the blame for that. But you can't fault the refs. I mean, the only thing you say is, yeah, maybe he should, that umpire should have been a little bit closer to the play. But I mean,
yeah,
like you said, everybody knows that the umpire has to touch the ball,
yep,
to set where it is and all that, and obviously the lineman and Dak did make it easy for him to get there. So I mean, you can only blame themselves.
yeah,
Um, I mean, I feel like that perfectly summarizes the Dallas kind of season.
absolutely. Yeah,
They've had some great showings, but they've had some blunders, um, and
Uh,
I wonder how much of that is Mike McCarthy's kind of just coaching, kind of coming out with his
yeah,
team and some of the boneheaded plays that they make.
yeah, because he had some issues right with the Packers, and that's kind of what
Yep.
led him to eventually being fired. The 49ers taking that 10-0 lead early. Did they even go up as much as 13-0? I think it was probably. Um,
Yeah.
but Cowboys finally get on the board, and once the Cowboys started to score, I was, they had the first touchdown,
Worried.
and I was like, oh, they're going to start coming back because, 40, the Dallas has one of the best offenses I
Yeah.
think the best offense it's ever had in terms of point scoring, and
And
they're a
plus, you had
very
Joey
dangerous
Bosa out
team.
too.
Yeah, Joey Bosa went out, or no, not Joey, Nick Bosa
Yeah.
went out,
Sorry.
right? But yeah, I mean, a team that I was a little worried about. 49ers also with Jimmy G. I guess it saw something about a strained shoulder or something, slightly strained shoulder. He tried to give the game away multiple
Yep.
times.
Yep.
Jimmy G was terrible. And I know
Hmm.
he had the 172 yards. He had the one interception. His QBR was 68. His rating was 67.
Yeah. Terrible.
He was just not good. Dak wasn't any better. 23 for 43. He had the 254 yards, the one touchdown. But yeah, he didn't play very well either. His QBR was pretty bad. I think the best quarterback out there was Brian Anger, the punter who had that
Hmm.
16-yard reception for that fake punt. Um,
Oh, was that
but yeah, I mean,
six?
it was pick six.
I just got a pick six.
Oh,
Yep.
geez,
Looks like it.
Kyler. Let's see here. So here we go. Oh, he just threw it right. Oh, wow, that's terrible. Wow, it looked like. Oh my god, he tried to avoid a sack and just lobbed it up, and then
Launched it.
he tried to avoid a safety by just throwing it away, and then he just threw a pick for a touchdown. I
Sometimes you just got to know when to
Wow.
throw.
You just
When
gotta
to just take take the
just take the
sack and
sack. Yeah,
yeah.
2 points. See you later.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, it's already 21-0. They're gonna. This is already
Yes.
becoming. By the
Squeeze the
way,
ball
how
game.
many blowouts were there?
Right.
Um. So let's finish this up first because I'm getting off track again. But Dak wasn't great. Elijah Mitchell running back was I thought pretty well, pretty good
Debo
for
too.
San Fran. Debo was awesome, 10 for 72 yards and a touchdown. Debo Samuel is
A
I
freak.
think the most electric player in the
Yep.
NFL in terms of just the ability to do everything. He's a beast. Just giving him 10 rushes for 72 yards and a touchdown, along with the receptions. I mean, the guy's 6 foot 215. He's built like a running back, but he's elusive. He can get out in the open. Um, he
Yeah.
was fantastic.
I saw a stat where he's the first wide receiver to have, I think it's eight rushing touchdowns in a season, something like that, which is
Mm,
pretty ridiculous for a wide receiver to have that
yeah,
many. On top of I think he had at least, I don't know how many receiving touchdowns he has, but I mean he was, when they had Elijah Mitchell out.
yeah.
Obviously they have my Purdue guy
Oh,
out.
yeah, yeah. I know you're talking about
I mean,
Raheem Mostert. Sorry,
yeah. They a lot of their running backs, you know,
injures. Yeah,
injuries or
injures.
just not panning out, kind of thing. Trey Sermon, and him
Yeah, Trey
stepping up in a
Sermon.
big, him stepping up in a big way this whole entire season.
Yeah.
Um, he's been definitely their
Yeah.
MVP, I think, this season.
Elijah Mitchell's been really good. Yeah, I mean, I know they have Jermichael Hasty behind them, Jeff Wilson Jr., but yeah, Debo's been awesome, and Elijah Mitchell is also, you gotta get credit. Elijah Mitchell's played really well when he's
Yeah.
been on the
Oh yeah.
field.
That was a steal in the 6th round for
Yeah,
him.
yeah, really good. Uh, on the other side, Dallas' rushing game terrible. Ezekiel Elliott was bad. Tony Pollard was also bad. Dak with the one rushing touchdown, but for a team that was lauded for their rushing ability, Zeke did not have a good year. Did he even break 1,000 yards? I don't even. Yeah, he just barely broke 1,000 yards. 1,002. He was seventh in the NFL.
I will
Um,
say though, I think that's also the type of game plan that they've kind of gone into this year.
yeah,
More throwing the ball and being heavy. I think Elliott's played well. In blocking and things like that, and they've
yeah,
utilized a lot of Tony Pollard, but I do think Elliott has regressed a little bit. For sure.
yeah,
Um, you know, this year and maybe even towards the end of last year too, but it's weird, seeing somebody who was so dominant, his first couple of years, and
yeah. I mean,
not
him
not
and
seeing that explosion.
NFC East. I mean, if you looked back just a couple of years ago, the running back situation, Saquon
Hmm.
and Ezekiel Elliott and Miles Sanders looked like he was going to be, a very good young running back, and it's completely tanked
Hmm.
for the NFC Beast. You're talking about the passing game. Dalton Schultz, obviously a very good receiver for a tight end, and he was one of Dak's high points. Amari Cooper had a pretty good game with a touchdown. But yeah, I mean, fumbles for Dak and for Cedric Wilson and bad penalties. Leighton Vander Esch was really good for them. I saw him all over the field, same with Micah
Yeah.
Parsons. But, you know, hats off to San Fran and to Shanahan. It's a good team, and it's someone
Yep.
that next week. I mean, we'll talk about the schedule, but next week, I'm nervous if I'm right. Is it? Am I forgot who's the. Do they already have
So
who's
next
going out
week,
there?
yeah. So
Yeah, because the NFC is
the
set up,
49ers
right?
would
Yeah.
play. 49ers would play the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, Packers. I was trying to get at the Packers, but I had to reset
Yeah.
and rethink that I was right or wrong. Yeah, I mean, gonna be tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
think
yeah, so right now, yeah, San Fran is the lowest seed, so they would play Green Bay, and Tampa gets the winner no matter what of this game. So that makes sense. Uh,
yeah, it's definitely the one team. I think if I'm a Packers fan, that's
you're
the
not
one team
happy
I
about it.
wouldn't want to. Yeah, I wouldn't want to play is them. They've been playing great
Yeah,
football.
he's LaFleur's number two.
Especially when you know the Packers have had some troubles. With run defense and stuff like that at times. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good game.
All right, let's talk about the other NFC game that happened on Sunday morning. Buccaneers, Eagles. One of those blowouts we were talking about. Eagles didn't score their 15 points till the fourth quarter. It was 31 nothing by that time. Brady, 270 yards, touchdowns. Keyshawn Vaughn, very good. Didn't expect him to get, this kind of
Type of
play,
game.
for a
Yeah.
playoff game, but 53 yards the touchdown. Mike Evans, a very good game, 9 for 117 in the touchdown. Uh, yeah, from top to bottom, they were outclassed. Jalen Hurts was
Yeah.
not good. I know he had the touchdown and he was running the ball fairly effectively, but Boston Scott with one run for the touchdown, with the one for 34 and only a single touchdown, but their running game was non-existent. Their passing game, other than Dallas Goedert, was really bad. Devonta Smith, I think he had a 30-yard target, and that was about it. Just the defense and Tom Brady, right, for the Bucs, and that's all they need right now. They're going to need more people to step up as they get deeper into the playoffs. But Keyshawn Vaughn, Giovanni Bernard was a helpful player for him out of the backfield. But only one guy was over 50 yards for them. That was Evans. Everybody else under 40,
Yeah.
really, too. It's going to be tough for this next game because I think a team like the Rams, with the firepower that they have and an opportunistic defense that can make
Mhm.
interceptions and get after the football. they're also going to be missing Tristan Wirfs, their all-pro right tackle. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, AJ. What do you think coming out of that game? Did you like what you saw from Brady and the Bucks,
I
or was
mean,
it more of just the team they played?
I think it's definitely the team they played. Um, you know, this whole season, the Bucks haven't really scared me. In the sense of
No,
a team. I mean, I know obviously they returned, all their starters. They're ended this regular season 13-4. But I feel like their losses that they've had, have been just terrible losses. Even some of their wins have been kind of streaky. Um, and they've just been a team that hasn't really scared me all year long. So if I'm the Rams or even the Cardinals, I mean, it looks like it's gonna be the Rams here. Obviously early, still in the first half, but
yep,
um, I think that I am very optimistic and think that the Rams can easily take Tampa Bay. Um, but you can never sleep on Brady.
yeah,
He always finds ways to win, and I mean, with the firepower that he has on that team, I mean, you would think it's gonna be a good game. Um, but I think I like the Rams defense, over the Bucks right now, and even that offense, getting back, Cam Akers, having Odell, having Cooper Cup, Tyler Higbee. I think I like those players and over Tampa Bay's offense right now.
yeah. No, absolutely agreed. All right, so we'll get past them and we'll head to our AFC
Do you want
slate.
do you
Oh,
want to
go
talk
ahead. Sorry.
about that? Do you want to talk about the other blowout? The Chiefs Steelers, which is both
Yeah, I was going
both
to go to the
these
AFCs now. Yeah.
both these last teams, the Steelers and the Eagles, the last one's in, and you know, eh, blowout games. It kind of makes you wonder, if having seven is good.
So I'm going to disagree a little bit and say that I think that the extra week of games was the thing
Hmm.
that hurt. Because if this was last week and we didn't have the week 18 games, you'd have the
Yeah,
Chargers in, and you'd
yeah,
have the Chargers, and you'd have uh, the Saints. And I think both of those teams would have been better to view, right? I don't think the
yeah,
Saints defense would have allowed that kind of game versus the Bucks. And
yeah.
just because I also watched them play them twice this year and they were better,
Hmm.
right? And then I think the Chargers just in general are a fun team to watch, and I could see that those two just exchanging points in an
Yeah,
offensive duel. Um, I heard that the Chiefs actually lost or like ran out of fireworks. They scored so much they
yeah.
ran out of
So
fireworks, which
yeah,
is funny
so
because you're the Chiefs, right? Like you would figure, hey, I could score 40 points. Why would I have an issue with fireworks? But
Yeah,
um,
so this was the thing that they posted on the scoreboard. Chiefs fans, we are sorry to report, but due to your support and the Chiefs continually finding the end zone, we have run out of touchdown fireworks. Please direct all of your complaints to your nearest fans first booth, which is
Jesus.
which is pretty funny.
But I mean, 6 touchdowns, I didn't think would be that tough to get past, right? I
Eh,
mean, we've
I
seen
mean,
teams score 6 touchdowns before, but anyways, they need to buy him
yeah,
in bulk.
yeah, really,
Um, all right, so final Steelers 21, Chiefs 42. I'm actually kind of surprised the Steelers scored that many points.
yeah,
I, listen, I'm not the biggest Roethlisberger fan. I think that personally, he's not the best human being, but also,
hmm,
on the field, I never liked the Steelers, so it's been hard to root for him. But he obviously
yep,
is a Hall of Famer and someone that you look back on, in a couple of years, and you'll be like, wow, I mean, he really was a fantastic option and a fantastic player. That
yep,
quarterback class was really good. He did have the 2 touchdowns. He was 29 for 44, 215. Um, Najee Harris, they didn't really get their running game going,
no,
which kind of hurt. Uh, Pittsburgh's receiving 2 for 37 for James Washington. He was the leading receiver in yards. Ben went all over the place for his players between Washington, Deontay Johnson. He had a whole bunch of players getting targets. Um, 2 touchdowns for Deontay and James Washington. That is. And then you look on the other side, and you have Patrick Mahomes 5 touchdowns, 400 yards passing. Travis Kelce throws another touchdown. His mom actually was on the post game interview with Kelce, and he went ahead and she asked him a question about how it felt to throw his first NFL touchdown. So that was pretty exciting for him.
Mm.
But Jerick McKinnon, played really well as the leading rusher.
Yeah.
Mecole Hardman had a pretty good game, kind of jack of all trades. But Kelce, 5 for 108, the touchdown. McKinnon had another 81 yards receiving and a touchdown. Tyreek Hill with a bomb. Byron Pingle had two touchdowns for them, and then finally their fullback had a touchdown as well. But yeah, I mean KC is rolling at the right time.
Yep.
Do you think, after seeing this game and after seeing the Bills, it's going to be a clash of those two teams going at it, or do you think, what's your thoughts on the Chiefs and their prospect of going to the Super Bowl?
I mean, I think this is obviously the best game of, well, besides probably the Packers game. Well, actually, no. Looking at these slated games, all these are going to be really good games. I know obviously playoff wise, they're always going to be the best games, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just looking at this might be the highest scoring game, maybe.
Buffalo at
Um,
KC. Yep.
yeah. So, I mean, this could be a toss up. It could be anybody's game. The way that both the Chiefs and Mahomes played, and the Bills dominated
Yep.
the Patriots. I mean, if the Chiefs get off to a slow start that they did against the Steelers, I mean, it could be a long game for them, but that's gonna be a really really good game. But kind of like what I said before, the Chiefs. I mean, at the start of this game, terrible.
Yeah.
Punt after
Come out
punt
slow.
after punt. Mahomes with that terrible interception. Pittsburgh, had the fumble recovery for the touchdown. It looked like it was going to be a defensive battle, for the Steelers, and they would carry them. But the Chiefs doing the Chiefs, what they do, and Mahomes, kind of getting it together. You hope that they're getting their best football now, and kind of overcoming those early slumps that they had early on in the season, and that's gonna be a really good game.
Yeah.
Chiefs Bills. So
Quickly going to it, the Saturday slate: Raiders, Bengals. Joe Burrow looked really good. I
yeah,
know that Carr played pretty well as well. Josh Jacobs, 83 rushing yards. Jamar Chase, the 116 for receiving. I thought the Bengals played well, and I thought that they were able to get the W. Despite they kind of led and they were romping a little bit, and then
yeah,
Vegas kind of came back. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the Raiders, in the offseason, but I thought they played well, like I said, and I think that coach deserved to kind of be around for next season. But like I said, I don't think it's going to happen anymore. And since he's got to
yeah,
be really happy, first win since 1991.
yeah. 30,
Um,
30 some odd years.
yeah, and they have a good team. I think Joe Mixon's a very good running back. They have the elite wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
They have some weapons, so we'll see what happens with them in the next round versus the Titans. Last game was the other blowout, the Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. When would you ever talk about Patriots being in the opposite end
Yeah, being
of a
blown out, right?
blowout? Josh
Yeah,
Allen, 5 touchdowns. Singletary had 2 rushing touchdowns. Dawson Knox had the 2 receiving touchdowns. The Patriots just from get-go were bad,
yeah,
and I think they scored on all 7 possessions, the Buffalo Bills, which is the first time
yep,
that's happened, that they never punted. Mac
yeah.
Jones was not
Yeah,
great.
first time there was never a punt, a field goal attempt, or a turnover, right?
Turnover, yeah. Their
In a
teams
game, which is
start,
pretty crazy.
yeah. Yeah. They couldn't get the running game going. They tried with Harrison, Stevenson, but they
Hmm.
just couldn't get it going. Mac Jones, like I said, played okay. Kendrick Bourne, was his main weapon. Him and Jacoby Myers, born with the 2 touchdowns. Um, yeah, I mean, he just went everywhere and everywhere. Allen, that is, for his receivers.
Yeah.
Even Stephon Diggs, 3 for 60. He was just kind of an afterthought, which is a good thing for that offense when they can
Hmm.
do something like that. But like I said, Dawson Knox was very, very good. Watching highlights of that one touchdown in the back corner,
Yeah.
it was a very good catch, very good throw. Um, and Buffalo fans have to be giddy and happy. They got the snake off, they got the monkey off their back, and they don't have to worry about the big bad brother. New England Patriots. This should be their team for the next 5 years. They should be the number one in that division, and
Hmm.
we'll see what happens with them. Obviously, the rest of this playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with Buffalo's. I feel like they ride or die with Josh Allen and how he plays. When he's
Yep.
on, this team's the sky's the limit. But when he does the mash every button on the controller, trying to make
Yep.
a play, and throws an interception or fumbles the ball, that's when this team kind of loses identity.
Yep.
It's great finally seeing the Patriots, get blown out like this. You know, this team next year, though, I think is going to be scary still. I think it's definitely going to be Patriots and Buffalo, vying for that division again. And,
Yep.
you know, it was nice
Ooh.
seeing Buffalo actually make Mac Jones, try to throw the ball instead of, having the run it down your throat and, type game it was, a few weeks ago, where the Patriots had, 30 plus runs
Yep.
straight. So it was a good game to watch for the first half, and I was like, all right, this is a blowout. Let's watch something else.
Yeah. Once their offensive tackle Tommy Doyle 6'8", 320 got that touchdown pass, I was like, I'm done. Yeah, no
Yeah.
more. All right, so let's go to the slate because that's all the games. Now, obviously, we bring in the Packers and the Tennessee Titans. So let's talk a little about what's going on. So for Saturday games, first game up, we have Cincy at Tennessee. That's that 4:30 p.m. game.
Yep.
Tennessee coming back. I don't know that they're going to have. Are they supposed to have Derrick Henry back?
I don't
I
I don't
didn't
know.
see anything on this
I haven't
coming up
seen
to it.
anything. Yeah.
Let's see
I know
Derrick
they said
Henry.
that it was a possibility that he could come back for the playoffs, and that's what they were hoping for. Excuse me. We'll see if he can, make it back. Um, without him, I mean, I feel like that offense struggles, still. I know they've had, still some good games, without him, but I mean, that's the Titans' identity is Derrick Henry and that
Yeah, so
play action.
Titans, Vrabel called it a big week of practice ahead for the star running back. We'll look for Henry to get acclimated running the ball in practice Tuesday through Thursday ahead of Saturday's AFC divisional round against the Bengals. He still remains on injured reserve, but he's expected to be activated. It's going to be, it's definitely going to be a tough game for the Bengals if he's back and healthy. You're talking about, top five, top two running back in the NFL
Yeah.
when healthy. So, Bengals, I really think that they need to get that passing game going immediately.
Yep.
Put some pressure on Tennessee. Don't let them establish the run. They're also missing their defensive tackle who got injured. He's out for the season now. I mean, I want Cincy, but I'm gonna unfortunately have to say it's Tennessee.
No, I mean, I think the Bengals make it to the conference championship. I think
Wow.
the way that offense is rolled, if Derrick Henry is back, it's a different story. I think it's definitely a closer game, but I'm still going to give it to the Bengals. But I just think that offense has in recent weeks become unstoppable. With
All right.
that Burrow to Chase connection, they've looked really good. So, Burrow is going to be future MVPs for sure. If he keeps this up.
I
So,
like Joe Burrow, and
yep, I do
it
too.
just shows you what a franchise quarterback can do for a city and for a franchise because
Yeah.
he just changes everything about when you think of Cincinnati Browns, and the Jets will never
Yep.
have that. But it's nice to see something like a team like the Bengals, who are were proverbially seasonally cursed.
Cursed. Yeah.
That they're having success now. That 8:15 Saturday game, which I think is going to be one of the better ones in the slate.
Yep.
San Fran at Green Bay. Obviously Rodgers coming back. We'll see what he does in his swan song for Green Bay, and during the playoffs, I do think that they're my favorite for the Super Bowl. But San Fran they're just tough, and they come at you, and they play smash mouth football, and on
Mm-hmm.
both sides, and they love to get dirty and physical, and they'll take their running backs and they'll move them out, and they'll take their wide receiver and move them in, and it's going to be a fun game to watch. We'll see what Jimmy Garoppolo brings with him, to that
Which
game.
Jimmy G you get?
Injury, I mean, but even with an injury, like,
Yeah.
you're going to rely on maybe Trey Lance having to come in and save the day against a star quarterback who's, seasoned and just knows what he's doing. I like San Fran, if it was against Tampa, I'd actually might even think about taking San Fran. It's Green Bay, and I just think that they have all the weapons and the tools to get this win. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to make you nervous, and it's going to be tight. I just think that Green Bay is just the superior talent.
Yeah, I do too. I think it would be smarter for the 49ers to maybe bring in Trey Lance. He brings that running
Maybe
element.
he can't pass though.
Yeah, but I mean, look what they've done. The Niners with Debo and all that. I mean,
Yeah,
look, pass the ball to Kittle on short little dump downs. Obviously you have Debo too, do little wide receiver screens and just run the ball. I mean, I think
yeah,
that's gonna be the key to their success if they beat the Packers. It's gonna be running the ball, and coming up with those plays. But I'm with you. I think the Packers, just overall are just a better team. That offense. I mean, with Devontae Adams, with Dylan and Aaron Jones. Those three guys, and obviously Rodgers. I'll bet my money on Rodgers any day of the week.
yeah. Then we look at the Sunday slate. Tampa would be most likely, because right now we're talking
21
uh,
nothing.
21-0. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb right now and say that it's the St. Louis Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, making
Mm-hmm.
it to uh, divisional round. I would say I'm gonna take the Rams. I think that they are going to be rolling. I think that they have the weapons that can beat Tampa,
Mm-hmm.
the pressure that can get to Brady, and the offense that can score points against a very good defense. But
Yep.
yeah, I'm going to take the Rams, and that's where we would have thought that the Rams would have been in the beginning of the season, is in the conference finals,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be a good game. What
Yep.
I think would be the Rams and Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm right there with you too. I think at the beginning of the season I was touting as the Rams as potential Super Bowl
Yeah,
contenders and
favorites. Yeah,
champions. I think they're rolling at the right time. They're getting obviously they got one of their star running backs back.
yeah,
So I think the Rams will win this game and go on to Raymond James Stadium and
yeah.
beat the Bucks as well. So
Where's the Super Bowl this year?
Super Bowl is
Is it in L.A.? I think it's in L.A.,
yeah,
right?
it's at SoFi.
So it could be back-to-back home teams, or well, at least teams playing in that stadium.
Yeah,
Could be in the Super Bowl. We'll see.
yeah,
Last game, the 6:30 Sunday game, Buffalo at KC. Two monster offenses, teams that could
yep.
just have 40-yard bombs, 50-yard, 80-yard bombs whenever they want. Uh, you know, I don't like Josh Allen. I don't think he's the kind of quarterback that wins you championships.
Hmm.
I doesn't mean I'm not scared to crap out of him. And he'd have that one game that just craps all over your team. Um, Patrick Mahomes, he's been there. He knows what he's doing. I My head says KC, and the heart wants KC. I just got a bad feeling about the Buffalo Bills. Taking this one, but I'm gonna stick with KC. I do think that they get it, but it's gonna be a fun game to watch. I think this could be a 40 game, right? Like just them just
Yeah.
slobbering each other.
I agree with everything. My heart wants KC, I think, but I think it's gonna be the Bills. Um, I think they slay the dragon of, not being able to, win in those kind of like big moments.
Yeah,
And I think just the Chiefs this year, have shown that they're not the same Chiefs that they were, last year and 2 years ago. With that dominant offense. I mean, they've had flashes of it, but
yeah.
um, you know, it.
I mean, I
I
would
think
say
this
that they're
game's
the
gonna.
hotter team. I think,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I mean, I think this game's gonna come down to which quarterback, messes up first. Um, you
true.
know,
Yeah,
with the way that both of these guys have been playing, it could go either or. It's which team
yeah.
can capitalize off those turnovers. So,
I mean, both
I'm
guys
gonna
coming
say
off
Bills.
five touchdowns in the wild card round, so both quarterbacks feeling themselves pretty well. Um, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun slate of games. It's going to
Hmm.
be a great playoff season. All these teams that you kind of expected to be there at the end are here, and yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch. Was there anything else? Any other football stuff you got before we hit it out?
I do have a.
Rams active. Rams got Weddle back as their safety when
Oh
they
yeah.
lost. Yeah, so the Rams had lost safety. Man, who would they lose? They lost Jordan Fuller, suffered a season-ending ankle injury this past game. So they brought Eric Weddle out of retirement and then added him to the team. So he's back calling plays and stuff. So good for Eric Weddle. I always liked him.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a Moon Knight trailer that's just came out that I'm slightly watching. I had to rewatch it after this. I guess it
Really,
just
Moon Knight trailer.
oh, can't wait for it. Oscar Isaac's gonna be, I think, fantastic in that. But um oh, superhero shot looks so cool. All right, I got some trivia for you.
All right.
All right, let me just pull this bad boy up. So, Mike Evans caught his 14th touchdown of the season. This was in Week 18. Setting the franchise record. He also reached the 1,000-yard receiving mark for the 8th consecutive season. Who is the player, wide receiver, to have the record for most consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons to begin their career?
To begin a career, isn't it Antonio Brown?
No. I'll give you one more
Uh,
guess.
Calvin
Don't
Johnson.
overthink. Don't overthink it.
Calvin Johnson.
No, Mike Evans.
Oh, oh, he's the on record guy.
Yeah.
All right, not bad. I like it. Well, I mean, we'll see you guys next week for a fantastic divisional round show. Preview for the conference championships and then eventual Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. So,
Me
AJ,
too.
take her out.
Steve, I'll make sure to fix my blinds next time. Just for you.
Why he was? Oh,
This
he's watching you.
Yeah, he put a little message in the chat say fix your blinds. So I don't think they're that bad,
Wow.
but whatever. All right. This is football prime time.